What's going on YouTube? Espresso Shucko here, and today this is take 2 of Surf Dragapult Weakness Policy Groudon. So, I've done some tweaking, we've changed out 2 members, we've also changed out 1 move. Let's begin with Charizard. So, Charizard originally had Solar Beam instead of Dragon Pulse. We've dropped Solar Beam for a few reasons. One, if Sun is not on the field and something other than Charizard Gigantamaxes or Dynamaxes, Solar Beam is dead weight. That's the main thing. It's a charging move. Without the Sun, Charizard can't fire that off immediately. Without Dynamax, it cannot fire Solar Beam off immediately either. Originally, it was going to be more for if we needed some extra grass coverage against something like a Kyogre or Gastrodon to try to change the tables in case I didn't have Venusaur. But what I'm thinking is Venusaur probably is safe enough to just have the grass coverage on there, which lets us add in some extra move coverage on Charizard. Originally, I was thinking maybe Ancient Power for opposing Charizards, but similarly enough, we do have the Rock Slide on Groudon. So I got thinking, what else does this team have or doesn't have? And one thing it doesn't have is Intimidate. So Dragon Pulse is going to be situational, but giving access to Max Wormwind might not be too bad. Zacian is troublesome, so is Calyrex Ice Rider. If I can hit either one of their partners with a Wormwind, give them an attack drop, bonus. Chances are, though, Charizard's going to be clicking Airstream or G-Max Wildfire, because that is what G-Max Charizard does. Let's talk about Primarina now. So, Primarina instead of Gastrodon. Some pros and cons. A few pros. Aqua Jet can immediately set off the weakness policy if there's no opposing Storm Drain or redirection. Pro number 2, it's a weak physical water type attack. Primarina's attack stat is not that great, so Groudon's taking less damage from taking an Aqua Jet, especially with the sun up. Also, if Dragapult is in a situation where it's not really that optimal to be run, we have a backup plan to set off the weakness policy with Aqua Jet. Cons. Gastrodon has Yawn. We're losing Yawn. Gastrodon's Storm Drain was there also to try to complete the loop with the Surf and get further attack boosts in case Groudon wasn't available, but I'm willing to give up that trade. And plus, we do have both Sleep Powder and Thunder Wave on Dragapult and Venusaur, so we're not losing too much without Gastrodon there. Another thing, though, too, is as far as like a Trick Room situation goes, while Primarina wouldn't be terrible, Gastrodon is stupidly slow, so that is one thing to keep in mind. We still have a moderate Trick Room matchup, but Gastrodon would have probably been a little bit more optimal. That said, I've used Primarina with the Aqua Jet and Weakness Policy combination before. I've made it work. I'm confident in trying to pilot this. That said, watch this go horribly wrong now. Finally, let's talk about Zamazenta and Calyrex Shadow Rider. So originally Calyrex Shadow Rider was there as like raw damage, being able to click Astro Barrage, going for a lot of damage right quick. Zamazenta is not going to be filling that role. Zamazenta is going to be filling a support role with coaching and Wide Guard, because opposing Shadow Riders, Ice Riders, Kyogres, and Groudons can be really nasty with their spread moves, especially Ice Rider and Kyogre in the Groudon matchup. So Wide Guard's there to try to stop a little bit of that. What I was thinking too is if my opponent tries to max instead, Zamazenta is moderately fast, so we could go for coaching to bulk up Groudon and then like Groudon Dynamax and go from there, especially too if we're like say in a matchup with Ice Rider doesn't have Trick Room on the field, we get Groudon big, we get a defense boost on Groudon from coaching. Groudon maybe lives a super effective hit, gets its weakness policy, and we go from there. That's what I was mainly thinking there with that. That said, I think I've gone on long enough. Let's jump into some matches on the campaign to entertain. Okay, we have a Mewtwo Ho-Oh team with Porygon 2, Steelix. I dig the Steelix. Blastoise and Weezing. Alright, so Weezing could be a bit problematic for Groudon, but neutralizing gas if Groudon and Weezing hit the field at the same time. That said, I don't think I'm going to have too much trouble here. Groudon could be good for Ho-Oh there, especially if we manage to land a Thunder Wave on the Ho-Oh. So I think Dragapult and Groudon might not be terrible here. I do like the idea of Thunder Waving. My opponent does have the Trick Room option, which isn't too bad here. We do have Primarina. If we can get Weezing off the field, we don't have to worry about Liquid Voice not making Hyper Voice into a Water type spread move. So that is something that we can keep in mind. Get rid of Weezing, get our Water type moves. I don't think Zamazenta really does much for us in this matchup. Surprise, surprise. Not with Ho-Oh. That said, Mewtwo's really glassy, so maybe we can even bring that. Yeah, I think we'll bring Zamazenta, and then that way too. That is a decently defensive pivot that we can switch into. Because even without Dauntless Shield, we're still looking at something like base 148 physical defense. That's not terrible, even without the defense boost. Zamazenta's a tank with 4 legs. Okay, Weezing Porygon too. Alright, so that's not bad at all. We can go Surf. We could go Precipice Blades. I got a feeling Weezing maybe goes for Protect here. So we'll get our Surf. If they go for Toxic, or Willow, or not Toxic, I run Toxic. It's Will-O-Wisp that you normally see on Weezing. There's no Protect off the Weezing there. They might have a Shuckaberry. So, let's see. Weezing just naturally dodges. Okay. That said, I wanted the... Ooh, that did not do as much as I thought it might have. They did have the Will-O-Wisp, but that's mainly why we didn't Dynamax Groudon here. But dodging that Precipice Blades, that doesn't help. That said, we could Dragon Darts with Dragapult. We can Rock Slide. No, I think we still have Precipice Blades. I think maybe what we can do, I think we can bring in Primarina. I gotta watch out for Sludge Bomb on the Weezing. If it does have Sludge Bomb, I do have to watch out for that for Primarina, but that's okay. I think Primarina is gonna be our max option. There's the Foul Play off the Porygon into my Primarina. That's good to know. I don't mind the taunt into my Primarina either, because we're just going to go Hyper Voice and get that Throat Spray off. They do have the Shuckaberry, so even if Groudon did miss, we probably would have had some problems there. That said, that's a good amount of damage into Porygon, and the nice thing is with neutralizing gas, Hyper Voice is going to stay normal, so we don't have to worry... Well, we don't have the sun on the field either, so... I was going to say we don't have to worry about the sun lowering that, but it is what it is. We'll go for the Hyper Voice. We'll get the normal type damage. We'll get our Throat Spray as well. Also, I'm surprised we went before Porygon 2, but hey, that's awesome. We're going to get our Throat Spray. They do hit us with Sludge Bomb finally, which... Not an amount of damage I would have liked to... that I did like taking there, but... we're holding our own. We do have a special attack boost on Primarina. We're going to get Sun, so Primarina's Water-type moves are not going to do the best amount of damage. But that said, we're mostly going for some Fairy-type coverage here. Ho-Oh could be a problem if they brought Ho-Oh, but... Okay, I do like the Mewtwo. Because what I'm thinking here is I could go for a Starfall into that. Primarina is slower than both of these things as well, which is nice. We're especially slower than the Mewtwo, because Mewtwo's like base 130, which is insane. Um, because I'm pretty sure Liquid Voice won't apply to Max Strike either, so we'll go for the Starfall into Mewtwo. And then that way, too, we don't have to worry about Zamazenta potentially getting burned by a Sacred Fire. I feel like Mewtwo maxes. Maybe Ho-Oh. Because Airstream would be scary once Trick Room wears off. But yeah, I don't want to Dynamax. I really don't want to Dynamax Dragapult. Because this thing is not... Well, really, Surf's the only move that I wouldn't have to worry about with not using. Dragapult does have the max Phantasm option, but oh well. We've already maxed Primarina. So who's it gonna be? Is this Mewtwo or is this Ho-Oh? Let's find out. I would like to get rid of Mewtwo. Oh, it's Ho-Oh. Okay. So I did go for Rock Slide with Groudon, so we can get a little bit of damage that way. We did give them the Sun, which is a little bit concerning. Bye, Mewtwo. I don't think that's Focus Sash. I think we just picked up the KO there, which is nice. Okay, great. So, that must have been a crit. That was also a weakness policy. What? That was not a crit. Okay, that was just an insane amount of damage off that Rock Slide. Alright. I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm really surprised with how much damage we just did to Ho with that Rock Slide. But I'm fine with that. I mean, plus two burned Groudon, 4 times super effective. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, really, there's not really much Zamazenta can do here, but Primarina is going to be slower than Ho-Oh. So what I'm thinking is maybe we'll go coaching to get a defense boost, and we'll go for the Max Strike. It was a weakness policy on the Ho-Oh too, which is a bit concerning, but we're gonna slow down Ho-Oh, and then that way when Trick Room wears off, I think we're gonna be okay. There's a Max Quake coming our way. Alright. Zamazenta held on. Okay. It's still a bit concerning how much it has left, or how much that, or how little that Max Strike did. But that's okay. We did get a speed drop into Ho-Oh there. We'll go for another coaching there just to put up our physical defense, because Ho-Oh is a physical attacker for the most part. So we'll go for another Max Strike, try to lower some speed on Ho-Oh. And then this way, if they go for Primarina, at least we might have a chance of surviving. They're still faster than us. That's a bit concerning. And we also didn't survive. Okay, so Ho-Oh's just back up to neutral speed, though. That's fine. I think Dragapult can probably finish this off with a Phantom Force. Because I think this is their last turn of Dynamax. I don't think they shrink down this turn. No, they do shrink down this turn. Okay, so we can just go Dragon Darts. Dragon Darts, Behemoth Bash. That's just all we needed to go for there. I was hoping the Max Strike speed drop into Ho-Oh would have been enough, but clearly it wasn't. But that's alright. We'll just go for the Dragon Darts, and that should be enough. Because the only thing supported about this Dragapult is the Surf for the weakness policy and the Thunder Wave. So we do have a good attack investment. I don't know why it was so hard to get that out of me earlier, but it is what it is. Good game to my opponent as well. We have an opposing Groudon team. Okay, I also wasn't expecting the Primarina mirror. So, they have Groudon, they have Charizard, they have Venusaur, they have Primarina. So, 4 out of 6 things overlap here. The main difference is they got a Regieleki and a Zacian versus my Zamazenta and Dragapult. Alright, so why do I feel like there's a weakness policy on their Groudon as well? Alright, so they do have the speed control with Regieleki. We do have safety goggles on Charizard. That is nice. I think maybe we go Charizard, Zamazenta. Groudon in the back. And I think maybe we bring Primarina. Maybe Dragapult. I would love to Thunderwave their Zacian or their Charizard. Even Venusaur. Well, I'm also expecting to blow up Venusaur with Charizard if I could. I'm also really banking on them leading Groudon. Maybe Groudon a Lucky. Because I can always Wide Guard to get around the Electro Web. That said, Wide Guard should seem very obvious on my end. So, let's see. Venusaur and Primarina. Okay. So, we do have the goggles on Charizard. So, I do like the idea of getting off a Wildfire. We can also Airstream the Primarina if we want it to. I think maybe what we'll do is we'll Airstream and we'll go for the Behemoth Bash. And then this way too, what happens there is if they decide that they're going to swap Groudon in to give Venusaur speed, they can't Sleep Powder my Charizard and they turned on my Solar Power. And then I get an Airstream boost and then I can go for Wildfire the next turn. That's the main idea. I'm banking on them keeping Venusaur small this turn. And then this way too, if Charizard also gets some good speed into it, which that did next to nothing to Primarina, I'm not surprised. But at least there we get some speed into Charizard. We can go for Wildfire next turn. And we'll just get some general chip damage into Primarina. Or just a straight out KO. Thank you, Zamazenta. Okay, they were gonna go for Grass and Water Pledge. Alright. That's good to know. So that was a pledge combination to lower speed. So I now have speed, or not speed, special attack power. Because of Groudon switching in. What we could even do is we can go Wildfire into the Groudon slot. No, I think we go Wildfire into the Venusaur slot, and I think we go for the Wide Guard. No, I think we go Wildfire into Groudon. And just to keep our bases covered in case there's a Precipice Blades or a Rock Slide coming. I have a feeling this is Venusaur. So that shouldn't be too bad. No, it's Groudon. Okay, so I do like the idea of getting damage into Groudon here. At the end of the day, that is nice that we get the damage. The Wormwind tech would have been nice here too, but it is what it is. Maybe they go Sleep Powder into the Charizard slot. Yeah, thank you, safety goggles. We'll get our Wildfire damage off into Groudon. That'll be some good chip damage. Okay, that's why. That's a crit. Yeah, all right. We got a crit off into the Groudon. That's great. Zamazenta gets to hang in there. Pretty sure the Wildfire is going to take down Groudon here. We're going to take a little bit of our own chip from Solar Power. Venusaur Sash, we now have broken the Sash. All things considered, this was probably the best case scenario there. Except for taking the damage into Zamazenta, but it is what it is. Zamazenta is putting out more than I was expecting it to. And there's Zacian. Alright, so. I think, all things considered, we're going to do it. We're going to go for the Wormwind tech into Venusaur. And, yeah, we're just going to go for a straight-up Behemoth Bash into Zacian. And my opponent forfeit. Alright, so we don't get to show off the Wormwind tech, but hey, there we go. Good game to my opponent. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this Groudon and Dragapult team in action. I had some fun with this team, but I do think it requires a little bit of tweaking. We might have to put Gastrodon back into the team somehow. All things considered, though, I'm pretty happy with how it played out for these two matches here. We played one game against a Mewtwo Ho-Oh team with Weezing and Porygon 2. We did get the weakness policy off. Unfortunately, though, the Weezing did burn us. We also missed Precipice Blades on the Weezing the turn we set off the weakness policy and then got burned. So that is one downside to potentially running weakness policy Groudon, but hey, it worked out in the end. Just rewind this and go watch how much damage we did to that Ho-Oh with the +2 Rock Slide, even while still burned, factoring in the fact that it was a Dynamax Ho-Oh. Pretty happy with that. Game 2, we played a team that had 4 out of 6 Mons in common with my own. They also ran Aqua Jet on that Primarina for their weakness policy Groudon. And hey, everything that could have gone right for that game went right, with the exception of the amount of damage we took on Zamazenta from a Max Quake off their Groudon. They tried to sleep powder Charizard. Safety Goggles just said, nope, denied. We got a crit off the Wildfire into their Groudon, brought it right down to the red. Wildfire chip damage picked it off. And then they had Zacian and Venusaur left after we already had a speed boost into our Charizard. Good times. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of the team down below in the comments. If you guys have any suggestions, maybe even like switching some things around as far as Charizard Venusaur goes, like maybe switching someone else into the team. That might be something worth looking into as well. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Anyways, I will see you guys next time on the campaign to entertain.